I am a walking zombie. Ladies and gentlemen in the chambers, as well as those who are viewing these proceedings, for the pre-meeting, it does not require a quorum. I do believe that some of our colleagues will be coming in as soon as possible. However, Councilman Osborne and I have conferred, and as the clerk reminded me of some historical moments such as this, we are going to proceed with the agenda as printed. Thank you. Mr. Clerk.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Newark Municipal Council's pre-meeting. Madam President, starting with the agenda, are there any questions on the reports for the boards and commissions?
None.
Ordinance on public hearing, second reading, and final passage. 6 PSNF-A is an ordinance ratifying the Director of the Department of Recreation and Cultural Affairs for a lease agreement with the Puerto Rican Day Parade for space at 201 Bloomfield Avenue.
Next item.
B is a authorizing resolution for the execution of a lease agreement between the University Hospital and the Department of Community Health and Community Wellness for 140 Bergen Street to be used as an ambulatory care facility.
I do believe there was a request to advance and adopt on.
Well, this is on second. We did that at last meeting.
We did do it. That's what I remember. Next item.
D is a ordinance granting a 30-year tax abatement to the GK Preservation LLC for a project to significantly rehabilitate 422 housing units. This is the Georgia King Village project.
Next item, Mr. Clerk.
E is an amendment to section 23:5-1, parking prohibited at all times. This will prohibit parking on Bloomfield Avenue between Lake Street and 3rd Street.
Next item.
Resolutions. Resolution 7R1A is a contract for insurance consulting services.
Is Mr. Kelly here? There are quite a few quite a few questions regarding that. Do you want to say anything for the record, or just allow us to address it at the meeting tomorrow?
Louis not coming, John's not coming. They'll know.
I'm sorry, Council President. I was chatting with our deputy clerk.
Yes, you were. I did notice.
The question is.
Forgiven, don't sweat it. Yes, there were several questions raised about this.
On which item? I'm sorry, ma'am.
Insurance consulting.
Oh, the item is number 7R1A. The Frankel.
7R1A, the contract for health insurance brokerage service.
It was deferred from our last meeting. Have there been any changes or?
There have not been
updates?
There have not been any changes, ma'am. The city again has been providing the services for both active and retirees. The retirees are on a self-insured plan, which the broker has assisted us in putting together and continually monitors those claims.
Okay, thank you. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
7R1B is a temporary emergency appropriation to provide assistance for the TANF and the GA SNAP programs.
Next item.
C is a temporary emergency appropriation for the Health Center Cluster Homeless Program Grant.
Next item.
D is a temporary emergency appropriation to enhance the City of Newark urban area security initiatives.
Next item, Mr. Clerk.
E is a temporary emergency appropriation to provide funds for the operating expenses until the adoption of the 2018 operating budget for the City of Newark.
Next item. Mr. Clerk, I see only one director in the room. So if there are those, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see, I see the director of HED, I mean the director of HED, not the deputy mayor. So if there are questions or items or updates, we're going to do this just as though there was a full quorum. Mr. Cologne, I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Seven R1F is a bid contract for wireless data acquisition, alerts, and analytics systems.
Next item.
1G is a bid contract for armed security guards.
Is anyone here to speak to that item? Next item.
1H is a bid contract to provide office furniture. This is the 7th precinct. This is the new precinct that will be opening at the school stadium on Bloomfield Avenue. 1I is a bid contract to provide office furniture. This is for the 6th precinct. This is in the West Ward.
Next one.
1J is a bid contract for artificial turf.
Next item, Mr. Clerk.
1K is a bid contract to provide rental of portable toilets.
I just want to make an observation. In the area of the South Ward in which I live, there has been a great deal of construction and repaving. My issue, and I called someone several months ago when they began, they leave the porta-johns in our community, at least in the community in which I live. Before they remove them, I had to call them. So if we can certainly advise whomever gets this contract that they need to pick them up within a week, as opposed to leaving them. I'm expressing my neighbors and my own personal concern. They leave them there until somebody calls. Next item.
One L is the use of a state contract to purchase a Dodge Journey SUV.
Next item.
7R2A is an area in need of investigation for an area in need of redevelopment.
Next item.
2B is a referral of a proposed South Bergen redevelopment plan to the Central Planning Board.
Next item.
C is an investigation for an area in need of redevelopment. 7R2D is a private sale and redevelopment for the to construct approximately 90 units of affordable and market rate housing and 1 commercial retail space.
Well, Councilman Gonzalez will be delighted at $15 per square foot. Next item.
7R2E is a authorizing resolution for a professional services contract to train adult and dislocated workers, clients in HVAC, land to general construction and building coding.
Next item.
F is a contract with subrecipient to provide a screening tool to identify the highest risk offenders who are released to Newark and to evaluate the NRI program.
Next item, Mr. Clerk.
4A is a professional services contract for financial advisory services.
Next item.
4D are stipulations of settlements. These are various tax appeals.
Pardon me.
5A is an application and acceptance of grant funds to provide medical care and supportive services.
Next item.
5B is a contract for the support, maintenance, and upgrade of the proprietary hardware and software.
Is anyone here to speak to that particular item? No one appearing. Next item.
6A We will, 6A and B, we will discuss with Corporation Counsel, and C in executive session.
Yes,
6D is a professional
pardon me.
services contract for special tax counsel.
Next item.
6E is a professional service contract. This is the first amendment to the agreement to provide legal services as litigation defense. This would increase the contract by $42,000.
Yes. Next item.
8A is a ceremonial street dedication. What?
Mr. Clerk, why is, never mind, I'll speak to this after
Yes.
the meeting. Next item.
8B is a professional services contract to provide legal services to the office of the city clerk in connection with election matters.
I'll move that.
Thank you.
Yes.
8C is a constable appointment. 8D is a support for a special event. This is the Portugal Day Parade. 8E is a ceremonial street dedication. 8F are various expressions of profound sorrow and regret. 8G are various recognizing and commending resolutions. 9A is acceptance of grant funds for the fireboat maintenance and sustainment and fireboat rescue equipment.
Next item.
9B is an application and acceptance of grant funds for funding to increase for the purchase of body-worn cameras.
Anyone here to speak to that item? Next item.
11A is a contract with subrecipient to amend Resolution 7R1G and authorizes the completion of Phase 3 of the renovation of Jesse Allen Park.
Next item.
11B is a pass-through agreement to enter into execute the First Amendment to the pass-through agreement with the Trust for Public Land for the continued rehabilitation of Jesse Allen Park.
Next item is
11C is a resolution which amending Resolution 7R9A adopted on August 3rd, 2016, accepting a grant. This is to amend the block and lot address of Jesse Allen Park. Next item, sir. On communications, 8A is an ordinance granting in the section 23:5-14E parking by permit only. This would add Sherman Avenue, both sides between Hunter Street and Stanton Street to the parking by designated area, residential areas list.
next item, Mr.
Madam President, that completes the agenda. As you can see, we have a full 25 speakers for the hearing of citizens. At this time, we have requests from the mayor for a number of added starters. One is the resolution to enter and execute a contract for planning consulting services.
Mr. Colon is in the room. Can we hear from you, my dear?
Julio Colon, Director of Housing. Yes, the added starters that I believe that's being put forward are items that we tried to get on the regular agenda, but we just couldn't meet the deadline. And now we're asking that they be placed on as added starters.
Any information that'll help the two of us at least be able to respond to questions that I am certain, will occur.
Right. If the clerk would read them off, I would have any questions.
The first is a resolution for planning consulting services with Hayer Associates. The second is a planning consulting services.
Do you want, Mr. Colon?
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
sorry. do you want to respond as he reads the one instead of waiting until?
No, we can send you, Madam President, we can send you an email with respect to any issues you may have. If you need additional more information, we can do that as well.
Right. Is there any kind of umbrella statement you need to make regarding them? And of course, the idea of getting the information to the council, we appreciate and accept.
Yes, good morning. Evans Anyon, with Deputy Legislative Director for Economic Development. The matter we have a need for planning consultants. We've been trying to get this on the agenda, and what we will do, coming forward, we'll send an email as to the details of it. But however, for the planning and zoning department. To advise the planning, to advise the zoning and planning board on matters concerning zoning and planning.
Any questions? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
There are two planning consultings there. We have a resolution. This is a resolution authorizing an emergency be declared for the further authorizing the 6 PSNFD granting a 30-year tax abatement to the GK preservation. I assume this doesn't read well, but I assume this is a waiver of the 20 days?
Yes, it is, Clerk.
It needs to be worked on. We have the resolution ratifying authorizing the read by title for the PLC Special Improvement District. This would be the adoption of the budget for 2018.
That's correct.
And there is a resolution conveyance of 429 affordable housing units located in real property at 221 305 Irvington Boulevard.
Oh, yes. Yes, that's an assignment and assumption.
That's an assignment. These.
Yes,
Yes, okay, I see it down at the bottom.
Previous.
An assignment of an assumption of the
previous tax.
agreement from the previous owners.
That's correct.
And that's it.
That's it.
Those 6.
I see the tax assessor has come in. There was an item, of course, on the agenda.
The tax assessor, 7R4B, this is a stipulation of settlements for various tax appeals.
Good morning,
morning.
Madam President. I only came in case there were any questions, just given that there was a tax appeal resolution on.
Thank you. Would you state your name and position for the record?
I sure will. Thank you. Ramal Bullock, tax assessor.
Thank you.
I'll take my seat. Mrs.
And I also see Director, Deputy Mayor, Mr. Muhammad. Any comments on a couple of items, actually?
Where we at? I'm sorry. Can the city clerk tell me the page, please?
There was a training program for displaced workers.
Yes. One
Yes,
is
okay.
on
These are,
page 18.
Yep. Yeah, these are our grants. The first one is a grant for services, vendor contract for services for training for HVAC. It's a classroom size contract. And the second one is a contract. This is part of the reentry grant. We received this grant alongside Rutgers, who is supposed to assist us in building a program to track workers to track residents that we are assisting in our reentry program. And so we have to approve their contract for them to get paid for the work that they're doing.
So only because there hasn't been a lot of discussion. What's the screening tool? That's what caught my eye as I reviewed my agenda. What's the screening tool to identify the highest risk offenders?
Okay, so
Is there some kind of measurement?
So this program, you will have to be part of. You have to be part of an institution, rather you in a halfway house or you on parole or probation. Well, we're working with halfway houses, which is the GEO group. That's what we actually put into the contract that we're going to work with, and we have to deal with the most violent offenders. So this contract is specifically for individuals that are dealing with murders, aggravated assault, crimes that are the most violent offense. We have to service them, track them, give them job training, and try to get them back into society.
Is this a volunteer?
Yes, it's volunteer. I mean, you don't have to force them. It's 75 participants. That's going to be part of the program. We try to do 35 this year, and the balance of next year.
Any questions?
This is in addition
I'm really looking
to the
forward to
reentry
this
program that we. This is in addition to the reentry program that we already provide with the sanitation department, which is the transitional program. So it's two separate things. This is actually a grant that we received where they're asking us alongside with Rutgers to create a tool to kind of track the progress of the individuals that we put into these programs.
It sounds great. I'm excited.
Yes. Yep.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Clerk.
Madam President, before we go into executive session for the discussion with the Corporation Council, we should do the public speaking portion.
Yes, sir.
This is a 30-minute period in which speakers will be given 3 minutes to speak. When you step to the microphone, please state your name and address for the record. You will see a small timing device on the podium in front of you, which will begin counting down your time when you begin speaking. When you reach the 2-minute mark, the yellow light will illuminate, indicating that you have 1 minute remaining for a summation. When you reach your 3rd minute, the red light will illuminate, and there will be an audible sound indicating that your time has expired. Please look forward speaking to the microphone. We are recording these proceedings, and if you turn away from the microphone, we may miss part of your statement. Please address questions to the chair and not to individual council members. Is there anyone present that wishes to speak at this time?
No one appearing, Mr. Clerk.
No one appearing? Motion, council? Oh, we can't go into executive session.
We don't have a quorum. I was waiting for you to finish.
We'll have to address this tomorrow before the council meeting.
Absolutely.
We have a quorum, and we'll speak with Corporation Council at that time.
Yes.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Okay.
Mr. Clerk, you were good. What is this? Oh, the hat. Are you going back? I'm going home. I do.